Good day, my name is Frank Steffen. I welcome you to this week's Tourismus Namibia show, where we always bring you topics, destinations, and obviously, under to the point, a different subject. This week, we'll obviously start with the topics first, and the ones that we've got is farmers dealing with poachers in Namibia. It's a much bigger item than we always think. So there's been a bit of a course that has been presented to the farmers. Then we have a look at seals. This is more about longline fishing, but look at the result. And then we finally also look at the obap lionesses. Those are at the eastern edge of the Unyap Delta, so quite a nice little contribution that we received there. Then under destinations, we'll have a look at the Dolomite camp. You will remember that previously we didn't have video material of it, now we have. So quite nice up there at Etosha. And then we also have a look at Penduka Village. Penduka Village is here in Windhoek. We've spoken about this one before, but one of my colleagues, he had another look at this whole thing. It's Michael Kayunde, as you can see there. And then finally, under to the point today, we'll have a quick look at the Land Rover owners Namibia. They had a bit of a tech talk the other day, and yeah, I've just got something to say to that as well. So that's what you can look forward to. Up first, we obviously have topics. Yeah, I would be lying if I didn't tell you that I'm quite excited. From now on, it's basically 4 days, and then we're seriously looking at the expo. It's obviously starting on the coming Thursday, and it will last for the 3rd, 4th, and the 5th of November. So on Thursday, it's mainly business-related visits and that sort of thing. And then on Friday, it's full-blown open to all the visitors that want to go there. Like I said before, at the expo, expect a lot to be there that might interest you, not only in terms of lodges and accommodation and that sort of thing, but also in terms of suppliers, get to meet the industry as a whole. Then we've got a full program which we will be offering throughout the expo. So there's lots to look forward to. We certainly do. Right, and then it is topics, obviously, and the first one up is Wildlife Vets of Namibia. Many of you will recall we've spoken about them before. It's Dr. Ulf Tubezing and his assistant Mariska Beisterbosch. Very busy, always on the front, not only in Namibia, but throughout Africa, very involved with the exporting of wildlife and all that sort of thing. And they recently presented a course to farmers where they tried to teach them how to work against poaching, how to make sure that they actually know how to follow up when people are on their farms and they have poached and they catch the poachers, or how to catch the poachers, how to go about making sure that your proof is and that your witnesses do add up so that you actually get a conviction in court. And so the interesting part was that there was a Max Levine and Flo Lemonnier. They're from Escape Productions. And they took part in this whole thing, and it's actually intended for the French market, but the idea that they had was to just explain to Europeans how much greater the impact of poaching is, because people automatically, once they talk of poaching in Namibia, they think rhinos, but there's much more to it. So we brought you a little video of this.
Poaching and stock theft is a big problem in Namibia, and it has been getting worse in the last couple of years.
I think there is not a single farmer in Namibia that doesn't have problems with poaching. Many of the crimes happen outside. So outside you have wind and you have animals and so on that destroy the crime scene.
I'm going to go with the tracker and the photographer just to have a first look.
Namibia is a big country. It takes a long time for the police to respond. Quite often the policemen are not really motivated, or they don't have a car, they don't want to respond. It's important to teach people, especially in remote areas, to do those things. Collecting shoe and tire prints is possibly the most important thing that you can do, other than having hard evidence that is easy to collect.
This is the exit.
Yeah.
How do you know?
If you check at the grass here,
Yeah.
the grass is laying in that direction.
Walk slowly and check every bush and under the bushes. Okay?
Crime scene handling and poaching, it's not just a simple thing. With this course, we're going to teach you the right steps.
It's empty.
You only have one chance of doing it, so do it right. I'm not a policeman. I don't want to go and attend crime scenes as a detective, but I want to teach people to be able to at least look after themselves to a large extent.
Yeah, quite a bit of awareness going on there, and we always know that wildlife vets, they're very enthusiastic about that sort of thing. Up next, we've got Literates Marine Research. Now this, we've often spoken about these people, and they obviously do a great job. But this week they brought us some tragic photos, and they basically said long lining is a fishing technique used in several ways in Namibia, but for several decades has been found to be dangerous and unsustainable for biodiversity without adequate mitigation measures. Around the world it is, in fact. Because of the bycatch and entanglement of many endangered species, it causes from albatrosses and petrels to turtles and endangered shark and marine mammal species, among other unintended species that is now. So at Baker's Bay, they came across this dramatic scene of a female fur seal heavily entangled in a piece of long line used by pelagic longliners, targeting tunas and sharks in Namibia's waters. So she's basically slowly being strangled and unable to feed. So details revealed that the thick monofilament line was fitted with a thinner steel tracer, mainly used for catching sharks, which is cutting deep into her neck, as you can also see there. So while within the tangled line, seabirds' feathers can be seen, showing that this line debris has already claimed other victims. So unfortunately, without help and equipment, they could not help this animal, as they're not equipped similar to their colleagues of the Namibia Ocean Conservation. organization. So such incidents are signs that our aim to have responsible and sustainable fishing is still far away. That's what they found there. So yeah, it just goes to show that our controls somehow still lack in detail, and it's actually quite a sad thing to see that an animal is slowly dying, and nobody could help it even when we were able to spot it. So it's really a sad story. Right, and then after that, we also have a look at Desert Lions Trust now. This week I was fortunate in contacting Desert Lions Trust, and they immediately said it's fine if we want to use their material, which we now do. We've actually brought you 2 videos. They're not necessarily the newest, but fact is they're just as interesting. So if you have a look here. So this is in the Unyap Delta, and it's quite nice to see these. They're not long videos, so I hope you will bear with us, because I felt if I don't talk too much, you can actually more enjoy the actual view. Now this is the second video now. They brought them in 2 parts, but clearly you can see these lines are very at home there. Almost looks like your home cat. These are clearly part of the pride and the various prides that you have, which are these desert adapted lines, something that we've been speaking about a lot. And Desert Lion Trust is actually quite delighted to have us share these sort of videos, because they feel that they're sometimes totally underutilized and not really well known enough. So we were glad to get hold of that. Yeah, and those are desert lions. Like I said in previous shows, they share their same DNA as any other normal line. They've just adapted themselves to these outlying fringes. If I say fringes, fringes of the Etosha National Park as you go towards the coast, obviously. So those were our topics for this week. Up next, we've got destinations. Yeah, welcome back, and destinations it is. And first up is Dolomite Camp. Now you might be a bit surprised, but this was actually not planned. A colleague of mine came up with that, and remember, they're part of the Tourist of the Year destinations that we've got. But here you see it, Dolomite Camp. It's quite close to the road as you go up to Ruakana. As I indicated in the past, you've got the road going down towards Uchu, and there where I indicated Kamanyap, that's where the town of Kamanyap is found. It's in the northwest of Namibia. And what you see further up is the Etosha. So here you can see it a bit closer, taking the road from Kamanyap up to Ruakana. as you go to Kovares and those areas. But before you get to that, you actually take the Galton Gate and then you drive towards Dolomite Camp, which is clearly on that Dolomite Ridge there. Here you can see it more clearly, like right on top of the ridge there. The lower down is obviously the offices there, and then you go into that little Dolomite outcrop, and that's where you will actually find yourself. Now, as I said before, we've had them on the show before, but we were not lucky enough to have any video material. So this time we've got more photos and video material. And so the resort obviously is located in a previously restricted area of the Western Etosha National Park. This is a biodiverse area in the absence of mainstream tourism. And the Dolomite formations of the area obviously led to the name of the resort. So they've got no less than 15 water holes. And with that, you obviously are almost guaranteed to have wildlife sightings. Black and white rhinos have been spotted at specifically what is called the waterhole Klippan. And you can also book into one of the game drives that they will arrange for you, which take you to areas generally only known to conservationists. So quite a nice little place there. As I said before previously, we couldn't get enough material. And this was not as if NWR now suddenly said, guys, come on, Frank, make a plan to bring me on again. It is, in fact, a colleague of mine who made the effort. So she brought me this video now.
Dolomite Camp is in the Dolomite outcrops of Western Etosha National Park. There are a limited number of chalets available. Therefore, this camp offers an intimate experience in one of the park's most scenic areas.
Actually, as a housekeeping, whereby we make beds, cleaning, and we make sure everything is clean, the whole camp, especially at the rooms. Actually, it's definitely good to be in a place, on a quiet place, where there is no noise, which is a soft life. In Dolomite, we engage with different type of people, with different cultures, with different attires, and it's really good to see different people with different attires, their behaviors, and how they react to others.
Dolomite Camp was the first lodge built inside Western Etosha. This camp embodies the spirit of mystery and magnifies a sense of the unknown. The setting and architecture are pristine. Guests can relax in the restaurant or bar. There is also a sunset deck and infinity pool overlooking the plains. Two fireside sitting areas present the perfect opportunity to savor Etosha National Park's nightlife while reliving the day's adventure.
Welcome to Dolomite Camp.
Thank you.
Checking in, travel. Namibia is beautiful. We have so many beautiful places to explore. You learn a lot, and you get to meet a lot of people. You learn different cultures, and you get to see a lot of animals. You learn things that you didn't know. As we offer game drives, they take you on game drives. They teach you a lot about animals, birds, plants, and all that.
The most accessible access to Dolomite is via the Galton Gate. The Galton Gate is the new entry gate north of Kamanyam. You can also use the Anderson Gate near Okaukweyo. But we recommend entering through the northwestern border when you plan to stay at Dolomite or Oliphant's Rest. Dolomite Camp promises a relaxing stay with beautiful views inside one of the world's last remaining pristine wildlife sanctuaries.
Right, and that's Dolomite Camp, obviously a nice little place. And so finally we've got some material that actually shows you what it is all about. Up next we've got Penduka Village. Now Penduka Village, we in the past, I think about 2 years ago, we also brought you something about them. So if we look at the map here, this is sort of the white line is obviously the main road, the highway, which basically splits Windhoek, in this case the industrial area, from Katutura. As you go to the Goriangap Dam, which is the fleck of water that you see there. And Penduka Village is basically along the banks of the dam itself. Here you can see it a bit more closer. It's really on the fringes of Windhoekers will know better, close to Evelyn Street and those places. And here you've got a better idea. Now, make no mistake, I've been there for functions, and it's a very, very nice place. And what I can also say is, don't think because it's close to where people are that you're being disturbed. No, that's not so. This is actually quite a nice, quiet place. It used to be a yacht club in years gone by when I was still a child. So Penduka is situated on these shorelines of Gorianga, and it is obviously in the northwest of Windhoek, and it offers a unique experience, both of the warmth of its people and the tranquility of the place. To make your stay truly unique, partake in one of the largest craft workshops to make your own jewelry, batik a cushion, or embroider your own story on a laptop bag. The facility also specializes in weddings. Let them make your special day even more special with a ceremony on their floating terrace, which you see here on the photo. But Michael Kayuna, he also organized me a video. Have a look.
Hello Tourismus viewers, my name is Michael Kayunde. It's been a minute since I've been on your TV screens. Today I'm back on your TV screens to give you a tour of Penduka, an establishment you can find in the heart of Katutura. You can come here for a drink, you can come here with your family. They have a family park. As you can see right now, I'm coming in from the park, and then you can also come here if you are looking for accommodation, a night to sleep. There's also a place you can do that.
Right, and that's Penduka Village. Just once again, I actually think it's a nice place. I previously said to our people here that if ever we have a Christmas function, we should consider it there. Currently, those are not exactly what the companies do. They'd rather save their money for real business after COVID. But it is something worth considering, and it's totally different. Traditional meals, shawarma, all the stuff is there. So if ever you consider it, contact Penduka. Anyway, that's our destinations for today, and up next we've got To The Point. Yeah, to the point it is, but before we do to the point, just a quick reminder, the reason why we still showed you that little video of Tourist of the Year is not so much because you can still enter, but much rather because we've basically got those entries now. We're busy sprucing them up a little more, and so that you can better choose them. So going forward now and up towards Wednesday, we will bring them on this page as often as we can. That is on our Facebook page. And so the idea is to establish the 6 finalists at the Tourism Expo next week. So we're very excited. That's just part of our program. Then we will actually, during a live show, announce the final 6 candidates. So if we can, we will have all the candidates there, and if possible, also representative of the various sponsors, so that we can then determine who's going further on to which lodge. Right, but to the point, and today we've got something different. Johanan Kutsia, colleague of mine, he the other day, as part of his show, visited the Land Rover Owners Namibia Tech Talk. So there you can see it. This was quite an interesting thing done at the Old Wheelers Club earlier in October. And he approached me and said, you know, Frank, it could actually be quite a nice little video for your people as well. Because surely, I mean, tourism and 4x4 and that sort of thing, it goes hand in hand often. So he compiled a little video. I just need to point out, if you see here the voice there, that would be Johanan who's speaking there, or Jochi as we always speak of him. He's just done a voiceover for me because the talk was in the Afrikaans language. And I know many of you understand it, but then there are just as many who don't, so we decided to rather translate it into English. So have a look.
Good evening, and we are at the Tech Talk. We do about 4 to 5 Tech Talks a year. We are from the Land Rovers Owners Association of Namibia. We call it a Tech Talk, but we really do anything from training from GPSs, environmental programs, where we tour the country for conservation, and we also do book launches. But tonight's was specifically about lubricants and greases that Motel presented to us today. And yes, it was very interesting. About 6 years ago, Elron was launched. Initially, it was just a group of Land Rover owners that came together, decided they wanted to do something together. And in the beginning, it was really focused on conservation and environment, and really to about tour and just enjoy the scenery around Namibia. That was the goal in the beginning, but then the club has grown from strength to strength, and because some of the other manufacturers do not have these sort of social clubs, we've allowed other owners of other brands to join, and we call them Land Rover Friends. So we have a whole council of Land Rover Friends, and they tour with us, and it's all about 4x4 and just touring Namibia. And then the second main aspect is environmental protection, and then of course we've now moved into social impact. We've recently brought in a consignment of wheelchairs, and we're expecting another container full of wheelchairs that will be donated to those people in need and underprivileged. And yeah, so that is why we come together from all walks of life. It started with Land Rovers, and now it's really all brands across Namibia. So anyone is welcome to join us. Anybody in Namibia, and anybody who has an interest in these subjects, please come join us and become a Land Rover friend, and you can be a club member and take part in our events. We have a website and we have a Facebook page, but the website should be easier. And on the website you'll find all our information, photos of previous tours, and all the projects we're busy with. The website is lrovernam.com. That is our website, and if you go on there, You'll find all our activities, our calendars, events, and also our social projects, and also how to become a member. And there's also a lot of photos of our previous activities. So yeah, and a good calendar for all our events. There are 2 events planned for the rest of 2022. The one in Henties Bay on the 19th, and then we're also planning something in Desolation Bay. We're busy with the planning now, and then after those two events, we will be done for the year. So our year end will be on the 19th of December in Henties Bay. And people must also keep in mind that there are representatives across the country where they can join and become part of this initiative, but you'll find all of that on the website.
Right, and that's LRON, the Land Rover Owners of Namibia. And the reason why I brought it was not only because they had their tech talk and whatever they do. You will remember we've often had them on the show where we showed you all the good deeds that they do, because invariably if they take a little trip into Namibia and they visit this site or X site, then they always make sure that they collect some money for the needy people around that area. So they're actually doing a great job quite regularly. And so I thought it might be of interest to you as well. Well, clearly you saw that today we're trying to keep the show shorter. We believe that maybe you would then be inclined to listen to the show right to the end, whereas we felt we were getting simply too long-winded during the show. So I hope you still enjoyed it. I certainly did. It was fast and crafty, if I want to call it that. I remain for another 7 days, and see you same time, same place next week. Until then, bye.